A question I get all the time is Kansas City in Kansas or is Kansas City in Missouri? You know what? It's a very valid question, and in this video I'm going to answer that question for you and give you some tips about navigating yourself around Kansas City. My name is Julie Spaulding. I sell real estate here in Kansas City with Better Homes and Gardens. So as you can imagine, many people get confused about Kansas City and which side of the state line it's on. Well, it is in both. We have a state line that runs down the middle. There's a Kansas City, Kansas, and there is a Kansas City, Missouri, much larger actually than Kansas City, Kansas. So how do we navigate this? What do we think about this? Well, I have a few little tips here. Let me tell you my first one. The first one is to think of a map. So if you look at a map of Kansas City, you will see that we have a pretty good interstate system here. We have a lot of interstates running from both sides of the state line. And one of the ones that makes it very easy in Kansas City is one that's 435, I-435. And it creates a square around the entire city. So we have Kansas City here in the middle, and then we have lots of suburbs going in all directions outside of Kansas City. We're kind of like Chicago people, right? Who knows somebody that says they're from Chicago? Most people are not actually from Chicago. They're actually from a suburb of Chicago. Well, we are a little bit like that here in Kansas City. So we always say we're from Kansas City, but in reality, we're probably kind of in a suburb of Kansas City. And so the city itself, downtown, is in the middle, and we have I-435 that makes a square around a lot of the city, around the city and into the suburbs. There is also I-35 that runs on the northeast corner down to the southwest corner of 435. That road right there causes some problems. The road is fine, the interstate's fine, but it comes down at an angle and it confuses everyone. It's actually quite easy to navigate Kansas City. We also have I-70, which runs across from St. Louis all the way to Colorado, and that goes right through downtown, and we have a river. And a lot of people like to say north of the river or south of the river. My mom grew up here and my grandparents grew up here, and they lived north of the river. And they never understood why I wanted to move south of the river. So that's my first thing. Got to think of a map. The second thing are sports. A lot of people get confused on the sports. So in Missouri, over in Independence, Missouri, are the Chiefs and the Royals. There's a complex, they share the same parking lot. It's been there for many years, and there's also been a lot of talk about moving it downtown or even the Chiefs over to the Kansas side. So the Royals and the Chiefs are on the Missouri side. On the Kansas side, we have Spaulding KC, the soccer team, and then we also have the racetrack, KC Speedway. And we actually are getting a new stadium for women's soccer, and I can't think of their name, Current, Kansas City Current. And that will also be on the Missouri side, which actually is going to be very close to downtown. So that's my number 2 tip for you. The number 3 thing is the airport. This airport is actually north of Kansas City. And how many of you come to the airport? If you have, I'm sorry. I apologize. We are stuck in 1980, maybe 70s. I'm not sure. But it's old. But in 2023, we are getting a new airport, and we will be able to redeem ourselves in the airport world. It's sad. So if you come to Kansas City and you want anything to eat at the airport, or you want to have a layover there, I apologize. It's not a great place to be, but it's going to get a lot better, and it's going to be super cool, super cool. So those are my tips. Make sure you figure out the map around Kansas City and through Kansas City. Know which side the sports teams are on. And if you do happen to fly into Kansas City, I'm sorry, but it's going to get a lot better. All right, come visit us, come see us, and go Chiefs.